Hi, everyone. Welcome to our NU in Italy visa webinar. We're just going to wait a few moments while we have folks joining us, and we will be getting started shortly. All right, welcome everybody to our NU in Italy visa webinar on May 6, 2025. Just a quick reminder that we are using a Q&A function today. So if you have any questions for us, please feel free to drop those questions in the Q&A. We have a team who's working to answer any questions that come through, and we'll have a little bit of time at the end to go through your questions. So let's get started. There we go. This session is being recorded on Tuesday, May 6, 2025. As a disclaimer, information may change after this date. So if you're watching it, please make sure that your Italian consulate, you check your Italian consulate's webpage because that is your best resource of up-to-date information. So let's get started. Welcome to Italy. We're so excited to have you. To introduce myself, my name is Alana Christopher. I'm an assistant director on the NUN team working on the Italy program, and I'm going to pass it over to Mattia to introduce himself.
Hi everyone, welcome to the NU in Italy webinar. My name is Mattia Dema. I'm the International Student Visa Coordinator, and you may be hearing a lot from me over the summer because I will providing assistance with your Italian visa application. If you have any question about it, most likely over the summer, I will be the person that's going to be in touch with you. Other than that, I will pass her over to our partners at JCU.
Hi everyone, I'm Alessandra Grilli. I'm the Assistant Coordinator for Visiting First Year and Provider Admissions here at JCU, and you will be receiving your acceptance and visa letter from me to your NUN email, so look out for that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alessandra. All right, so before we get into the specifics about the Italian visa application process, there are some important information that are necessary to keep in mind throughout this whole presentation and really throughout your entire summer as you're going through this visa process. So the following presentation has been prepared based on information and links provided by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Northeastern University and John Cabot University do not have any influence on the outcome of immigration applications and no ability to contact Italian consulates authorities to inquire about an individual visa application or to expedite the process for an individual student. Students are responsible for completing any visa application correctly and in an effective manner and for obtaining any required permission prior to the program start date.
All right, so a little overview of what we will be going over in the next slides. So who can help me with my questions? Why do I need a visa? Where do I apply for my visa? How do I apply for my visa? What documents do I need to submit for my visa? And time for questions at the very end. All right, so a little information. What is a consulate and who needs a visa? A consulate is an official representative office of a government located in a foreign country. So in our case, an Italian consulate located in the US. Consulates are responsible for processing visas for foreigners and providing services to citizens of that country in the local area, among other responsibilities. Italy has 10 consulates in the US. If we go to the next slide, we can see Boston, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. are where all the Italian consulates are located. So what is a visa and who needs one? A visa is an endorsement that is placed within your passport and it grants the holder official permission to enter, leave, or stay in a country for a specified amount of time. Anyone studying in Italy is legally required who is not an EU or EEA citizen, legally required to obtain a visa if you are staying more than 90 days, which for the program in fall you will be staying. So you are required to apply for a visa. Here you can see an example of what the visa will look like. It is stamped into your passport and it has your date of arrival, date of departure, and all general information about why you're there, why you're coming, etc.
Perfect. Thank you, Alessandra. So next is, where do I submit my visa application? Each consulate sets its own policies on how to submit your application, how you will receive your visa, and what supporting documents are required. Genuine students must apply individually at the consulates with jurisdiction over their permanent address. Today, we will be reviewing general application policies, procedures, and documents that most consulates require and follow. So just to quickly go back to the slide that has the jurisdictions, let's say you live in the state of Texas, you will have to apply at the consulate that is in Houston. You cannot just choose to apply in Miami because maybe you find an appointment there. You are required to go to your consulate of jurisdiction and apply through them. Except if there are like any exceptional cases, which we will be talking about later in this presentation. So then, how do I submit my application? We strongly suggest not to schedule any summer travel while in the process of applying for a visa, as Italian consulates usually hold on to your passport for multiple weeks after your appointment date. Schedule your own appointment for application submission through the consulate's website booking service, which is called Prenotami. Please note you will be required to fingerprint at your visa appointment. In-person appointments should be scheduled starting after May 15th to allow enough time for receiving all documents. If you cannot find an appointment at your local consulate, you can apply through the Boston consulates. So this is the only exception that I was mentioning a few moments ago. You are required to apply for your visa at your local consulates of jurisdiction. The only exception is you may go through Boston only if you cannot find an appointment at your local consulate. So again, let's say you live in Texas, there are no appointments in Houston, then you can go to Boston and apply for your visa there. However, keep in mind that will require you to physically travel to the Boston consulate in person at least once to submit your appointment. So that would be the only option. And Northeastern or JCU cannot contact any consulates and request updates on the status of a student application. So this is very important. Students will be the ones handling the process on their own from start to finish. They will have to book their appointment, show up to the consulate on their own, and follow up with the consulate if needed. What document do I need for my application? There are 3 types of documents that everyone will be responsible for. The first set of documents is documents that you provide on your own, meaning that you can collect and gather them on your own. Documents that Northeastern provides for you. These are documents that Northeastern will have already sent to you, most likely at this point. And then documents that John Cabot University provides. As Alessandra mentioned, there are a couple of documents that will come directly from her, and this will be this set of documents. It is important to understand who provides each type of document. Some documents you can gather now, while others may not be ready for a few weeks. It is also very important to organize your documents carefully in the order provided on the consulate website. I always say to have things organized the way that you see listed on the consulate website, because it's almost like making the consulate's life easier going through your application. It helps them review documents faster, which then means also it helps them approve and give your visa and passport back to you faster as well. So just make sure you follow that order as listed there. All right, so starting with required documents provided by you. And it's important to make sure you have a copy of every single document for your own self. A set of these documents will be given to the consulate during your in-person appointment, but you should always have a set of these documents for your own self when you are even in Italy over there physically, just to just to be safe. So the first document will be one national visa application form. It needs to be completed and electronically and then signed by hand. There is actually a step-by-step instruction on how to complete this form on the visa guide. So if you have any question about it, definitely refer to the visa guide on how to complete this document. Then you will need one passport photo. It needs to be a recent passport size in color with a light background taken from the front without dark glasses, reflection, or clothing that hides the oval of your face. You can actually go to any Walgreens, CVS, passport agency, and just let them know, hey, I need the passport photo for Italy. They usually have those settings in their cameras, and they will be able to do that photo right there for you. Then you will need your passport and one photocopy of the information page. The passport must be valid for at least 90 days beyond your intended stay in Italy, which is the passport needs to be valid for at least until July 2026. Again, very important, keep in mind that your passport will be surrendered to the consulate for the whole period of the visa process. And then you will need to provide a copy of your driver's license or state ID. This is how you will prove to the consulate that you have jurisdiction over that specific location. So if you live in Miami, for example, then you're going to prove that you can actually apply through the Miami consulate by showing a Florida license, for example, or a Florida state ID. Now, students must provide proof of residence in the jurisdiction of the consulate at which you're applying for your visa. If you're applying through Boston outside of their jurisdiction, you must provide your Northeastern enrollment letter, which is available in the application status check. So to what I was referring a little earlier, if you cannot find an appointment at your local consulate, but instead choose to go and apply through Boston, then because you will not have a state ID or driver license from the state of Massachusetts, you can provide your Northeastern letter of enrollment to replace this requirement number 4. So that is actually something that you can already go and download in the application status check if you choose to proceed this route. So then these are documents required from Northeastern or JCU. Again, keep a copy of all of these documents for your own self. First one will be an enrollment letter from JCU. This will be addressed to Al Consolato di Competenza, and it confirms enrollment in the program dates, duration, weekly hour of attendance, and the address of your accommodation in Italy. Then you will have the enrollment letter from Northeastern University, which is already on the application status check of the student. And then you will receive a health insurance coverage. These students participating in the NU Italy program will be enrolled in the CISI insurance by JCU. They will receive instruction on how to download this letter in their Northeastern email address, which will come directly from CISI, which is the insurance provider. So there is no need to go and buy additional insurance for your program. It's already going to be provided to you as part of being an NU student. So additional supporting documents. In order to apply for your visa, you are going to have to pay a fee. And the fee needs to be paid specifically by a money order. The fee amount always changes. So it is important to kind of check the consulate website a few days before your in-person appointment to make sure you have the proper amount for your fee. I believe it changes every quarter. So what I always suggest, a few days before you have to go to your in-person appointment, find out what's the final fee, go get your money order before your appointment, a day before or so, and then this way you can make sure you have the accurate amount, because if you don't have the exact amount that they need, they are not going to be able to issue your visa. You're going to have to go back or send them an updated money order with the right amount. So it's very important to get the exact amount the first time. Then you're going to have to provide flight reservation. So your flight that will show that you're going from the US to Italy and then leaving Italy or the Schengen area to come back to the US. It has to be a round trip flight reservation. And then you need to provide financial supporting documents. So financial supporting documents means documents that will prove to the consulate that you are going to have enough funds to take care of yourself while you are in Italy. And there are a couple of ways that you can do so. The easiest way is for the student to have their own bank statement that has the necessary amount of $3,420 in it. If the student already has a bank account on their name with that amount, then just get one of those bank statements, the most recent one, and that is all that you need for this requirement. In the case that the student does not have a bank statement with this amount, then a parent or a legal guardian or a financial support sponsor can be the person that provides these funds for them. To do so, you will need to provide a notarized affidavit of support completed by the parent or guardian or financial sponsor, along with the bank account statement of that person. The affidavit of support needs to be notarized, and if you plan on going this route, you can actually find the affidavit of support already on the council website. So it's going to be a link there. You just download it, complete it, and provide the additional requirement needed for this option. So it's pretty straightforward. So again, there's only two options. You either bank statement by the student directly or the affidavit of support by parent, guardian, or financial sponsor. And the total amount required is $3,420 US. And for the next, I will pass it on to Alessandra.
All right, so how to get your passport returned to you. You will need to check your local consulate for more information about how to receive your passport once the visa has been stamped in it. Some Italian consulates in the US will be able to return your passport back to you by mail once your visa is issued. But if not, then you will need to go to physically pick up your visa at the Italian consulate of your jurisdiction. If the consulate does mail back passports, you will need to provide a prepaid, self-addressed USPS priority envelope. It must include a tracking number. It should be addressed to yourself, the visa applicant, and it must include a written waiver which you would need to refer to your Italian consulate jurisdiction's website to obtain. And we always recommend, of course, to keep a copy of the envelope's tracking number with you, so that way you can track it once it is shipped. All right, so some important information about minor applicants. If you are under the age of 18 at the time of your appointment, please refer to your local consulate's website, as there will be additional documents required for your application. You may be required to travel with one or both of your parents or legal guardians to submit your application. A parent or legal guardian will need to create an account and schedule an appointment on the student's behalf in the Prenotami website. The additional documents required for minors can be lengthy and require multiple steps. So we strongly encourage students, if possible, to schedule an appointment after their 18th birthday. So for example, if you know that you will be turning 18 on June 1st, we recommend having your parent create the account for you in the Prenotami system and having them schedule an appointment for after the 1st of June. That way you are no longer required to present those additional minor documents, but you will be able to schedule your appointment anyway. So you don't have to wait till you turn 18 on the 1st to schedule your appointment, because we don't want you to wait until the very last minute. So that will give you the opportunity to still create an appointment even though you're not 18 yet, but then be able to go to the appointment and not have to include that additional documentation. All right, and then Mattia is going to go over the first 2 points.
Thank you, Alessandra. So we know that we have provided a lot of information. Some of it may be confusing. You may feel a little overwhelmed. So our job is to just make sure that everything is clear and that you know what the next steps are. So we have broken down into different categories of what will be needed to be done at each step. So to start with a parent or a legal guardian, students will need to work in gathering the following documents: proof of financial means and getting it notarized if it is needed. Book an appointment as soon as possible. This is something that you should, if you have not done so yet, by the time of this presentation is over, go to your local council website and book an appointment that is available after the date of May 15th. Figure out what your fee will be. And again, depending on when your appointment will be, the fee amount may change. So you may actually not be able to get the money order right now, but at least be familiar with where to find that fee information. It's always on the consulate website. Then start collecting the documentation of your educational history. This is a very specific requirement to some consulates only. Like I can think out of the top of my head that the LA consulate does need this requirement. Basically, high school students will need to provide a copy of their high school transcript. So if that is a requirement that you need to get for your appointment, then make sure that you start reaching out to people to get this document. For example, if you apply through Boston, I can already tell you this document will not be needed. Then if you're a minor, start gathering the documentation or start even familiarizing yourself with what documents you may need to provide as a minor at the time of your appointment. Again, referring to your local consulate website. Then on your own, students will have to complete the visa application form. Again, the form can be found on the consulate website, and instruction on how to complete the form can be found on the visa guide. Then 2 passport photos need to be taken professionally by any passport agency, CVS, UPS, or sometimes they even do that. Then provide a driver license copy or a state ID that will be proof of jurisdiction. Remembering that if you apply to Boston and you don't live in Boston, then the option to you can provide a Northeastern enrollment letter instead. And make photocopying and organize documents in the way of your local consulate website. Again, keeping in mind that you are going to keep also an extra set of photocopy for your own self after the visa process is over. And I'll pass it to Alessandra for the last points.
All right, so in regards to JCU, I will be sending you between now and May 15th your visa letter, which is a letter that is to be given to the consulate at your visa appointment. It's written in Italian and it provides proof of enrollment as well as proof of housing. I will also be sending you your JCU acceptance letter, and that is the one that is written in English. You will receive your CISI health insurance letter, as we stated before, directly from CISI to your Northeastern email address. In order to receive these documents on time, students will need to submit their housing preferences to JCU no later than May 15th. So this week you will receive an email from JCU Housing Office giving you instructions on how to access the student portal to go in and provide your housing preferences. As I stated, you will begin to receive your documents this week. All right, so JCU next steps. By May 15th, please complete the following. As I stated, you will receive your housing email in your Northeastern email account. It will give you general information of how to submit your preferences, if you have any health requests, etc. You will get access to the JCU student portal. You'll need to upload a profile picture for your JCU ID card. You can then add any medical or special housing needs that you may have. And then you'll have a couple preference questions to answer. You'll update building preference, and then you'll submit a roommate request. Please remember that preferences will be taken into consideration, however, they are not guaranteed.
All right, so a few final thoughts as we have reached the end of this presentation. If you have any questions, concerns, or are aware of extended summer travel or any other possible challenges, please contact immediately NUAIN at northeastern.edu, and we will be in communication with you directly regarding whatever is going on or whatever type of assistance you may be needed on a more individual level. At this time, you should work now to schedule your in-person visa appointment at your local consulate. If you have not done so yet, then again, it's very, very important. And I stress this a lot because appointments get booked quickly, especially over the summer, because everyone wants to get a visa in the summer. So make sure you secure an appointment as soon as possible. Gather all the documents that we have gone through this presentation. Make sure you organize them in the way of your local consulate website has listed online. Speak with your parents, guardian, financial sponsor to receive the documentation that may be needed from them to provide to you, and identify where you may have delays in your process. And to wrap it up, I'll pass it back to Alana.
Thank you so much, Mattia and Alessandra, for all of this information. I know it's a lot, but we are here. Our team is ready to help you manage this process as best as possible. We're going to take a little bit of time to answer some questions now. So if you have any questions, please drop them in that Q&A, and we'll either answer them aloud or we will message in the Q&A box. And just a reminder, if you have questions that are very specific about your personal situation, please do email us at nun@northeastern.edu so we can provide you the best support to be able to work with you on that. The first question that we have been getting a lot in this webinar, in our email, is just around appointment availability. And Mattia or Alessandra, I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about what someone should do if they're not finding an appointment at all at their consulate of jurisdiction. What steps can they take to try and get that appointment?
Mattia, do you want to answer?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So the first step would be to keep an eye on your consulate website booking portal. Always refresh their website because appointments get added almost every day. There's also people who drop appointments or cancel them, so new availabilities are added. Now, we understand that in some location, especially, it can be a little bit more challenging. Also, based on our experience, there are some consulates that have less availability over the summer just because of their workload over the summer. So if that is an option and that you are struggling to find an appointment, you can also send them an email. Again, I don't know, I cannot guarantee how the response rate of those emails because sometimes consulate responds, other times the emails get buried in their inbox. But there's always an option for you to go through the Boston consulate instead. We do work very closely with the Boston consulate, and actually we have met with them last week. And I can guarantee that if you log into the consulate website right now in Boston, you'll find appointments up until end of July. August will be released later in the summer. So if you want to go through Boston, you can book an appointment at their consulate. And again, the only thing that is required is an additional trip if you're not in the Boston area, which I can understand how it can be frustrating because you have to take an extra travel trip to go get your visa, but that would be an option for you. If you cannot book your appointment at, let's say, the Houston consulate, you can go through Boston, and appointments are actually available there. One other thing that I want to add that I don't think has been brought up yet is the processing time. In general, processing time for Italian visas varies based on the consulate, but it's always around 2 weeks, 14 days of processing. So we have seen in the past people show up to their appointment even like mid-August, like August 10th, for example, and they still manage to get a visa on time before their departure. So I would say you are safe to book an appointment anywhere from now, May 15th, up until first, second week of August without any worry. Now, again, that always changes based on your consulate local consulate where you will be applying. So you can always find the information about how long it takes to get a visa on their website. But again, Boston, for example, I can guarantee it's 2 weeks, sometimes even less than that.
Great, thank you. I was actually going to ask that question next, Mattia, just around we've had some folks who are worried about appointments that are later in the summer. Will they have enough time to get their documents? And you answered it perfectly. Thank you. I just quickly want to know, because somebody asked this question, this webinar is being recorded. We're going to be uploading it to our YouTube in the next few days, and you'll receive a follow-up email with the link to that recording. So don't worry if you haven't been taking notes, you will be able to access the recording of this webinar. Another question that I'd love to answer is just around group flights. We get a lot of questions about Northeastern's group flights, and for your visa, it can be required for you to have proof of a round-trip flight. I'm excited to share that in the next few days, if not today. Group flight information will be coming out, and you'll be able to take a look at what group flights are being offered and choose to opt in if you would like to opt in. It is a part of our program cost, so you will already have covered it if you've you know, as a part of the tuition. However, you can also choose to opt out and travel independently and receive a credit for our group flight. So if you would rather not follow one of the group flight itineraries, you can book your own flights. More information about that is coming out very soon. I'm going to quickly take a look. I see we have a few questions around specific fields on the visa application form. I'm wondering if Mattia or Alessandra, do you want to share? I know we have a resource available for folks on how to complete that application. Do you mind talking about that a little?
Yes, I can talk about it. So there on the visa guide, which is linked on the NU in Italy website, there is, I believe it's actually the first bullet point that says application on how to complete the national visa form, and it's a step-by-step document that you can literally click, and it has a completed national visa form for you. And all you need to do is literally copy and paste that information to your form, and then print it and sign it by hand. So everything, for example, question about what you put in box 17, that document is built specifically for a NUN student. Obviously, there are some sections like your name, passport number that we cannot include, but we write there what to add. Example, personal information or the date of arrival, the date of departure, multiple entry, single entry. All the information is found in the step-by-step document. It's, again, ready for you to just copy and paste to your actual form, and that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Mattia. I know both you and Alessandra spent a lot of time making these great resources for everyone. So I just dropped some links in the chat. Please definitely take a look at those and use them to help fill out your application, especially if you have any questions. There's a great question in the chat here. Can we book the visa appointment before May 15th, or does it have to be after?
I will let Alessandra answer this one because it's tied to the documents that they submit.
All right, so if you are able to get a visa appointment before May 15th, please reach out to either myself or nun@northeastern.edu, and we will work with you to get your documents to you. That way you will be able to go to your visa appointment. I will be able to send you your acceptance letter and your visa letter. We will get in contact with CISI. That way they can send you your health insurance letter, and you will be all set to go.
Thank you, Alessandra, for being so wonderful and supportive to us. And if you find yourself in that situation where you need your visa docs, please reach out to NUN at Northeastern and we can help you with that and facilitate that. I see another question just around, can we do private travel on our own to Italy and then take the group flight back? You do need to either opt into all the group flights or none of the group flights. Unfortunately, it's not an option to do a group flight one way or you know, do one of the legs independently. It is a round trip flight. So keep that in mind as you are looking at the group flight itineraries. Okay, I think we have gotten most of our questions. If we did not answer your question, again, feel free to reach out directly to us at NUN Northeastern. We are here and ready and available to help you with this process, and we're so excited to welcome you to Italy in the fall of 2025. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and looking forward to helping you out soon. Bye.